Tonight on Cronkite News, a hiring shortage of police officers. What Phoenix PD is doing to make up those numbers.
Plus, a protest at the state capitol over a speaker from the Israeli government.
And how the Cardinals teamed up with Special Olympics Arizona to give the community and athletes a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Denson Cortez.
And I'm Zariah Cole. Thank you for joining us. Starting off with the news in the Valley, the city of Phoenix is facing a shortage of police officers, which has led to the Phoenix Police Department launching a recruiting campaign.
Cronkite News reporter Gadiel Navarrete joins us now from the newsroom with more on plans to fill the gap.
The Joint Phoenix PD campaign media buy was launched last month, with the department reporting it was off to a, quote, successful start, but the numbers could say otherwise. The department says the online campaign has seen more than 150,000 times, resulting in over 132 clicks on the Apply Now button. According to the Phoenix Police's statistics, they have 2,563 sworn officers, but require more. As of March 18th, the department had only received 90 recruitment applications, a drop from the 219 applications received in February.
We're doing everything that we can, so our goal is to be everywhere. We have a pretty small recruiting unit, but you'll notice us everywhere, whether that's in person or billboards or social media. We're doing a lot of digital marketing, and we're looking in a lot of places where applicants might be looking for a new home.
Commander Garza said some of the cities where Phoenix Police has gained attention are Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and New York. The starting pay at Phoenix PD starts at around $70,000. In the newsroom, Gadiel Navarrete, Cronkite News.
Thank you for that, Gadiel. Today, Governor Katie Hobbs held a joint signing ceremony for two pieces of legislation that support her SAFE initiative to stop the fentanyl epidemic in Arizona. House Bill 2245 deals with possession and use of narcotic drugs and mandates more severe sentencing. The goal is to give law enforcement more tools to fight fentanyl and to bring more awareness.
Arizona lawmakers came together this morning to hear from a member of the Israeli government. The Consul General of Israel to the Pacific Southwest spoke before a joint session of the Arizona legislature, thanking the state for their continued support and efforts to combat anti-Semitism.
It is why I stand before you today and applaud the state of Arizona for combating anti-Semitism, standing up to hate and discrimination, adopting IRA definition, prosecuting anti-Semitism, and prohibiting BDS. And I want to thank you for that.
But the visit was not without some controversy. A number of people voiced their concerns on the decision to allow Israel's General Counsel to address the legislature in a closed session.
We ask our elected officials, why are you meeting with an Israeli government official in a closed session instead of your constituents who have lost their loved ones in the atrocities being committed by Israel?
After his speech, the General Counsel was presented with a solution affirming Arizona's support for the state of Israel.
Whether or not you're a huge sports fan, March Madness draws in a lot of people simply for the excitement of building your bracket and seeing which team makes it all the way.
You might think your town does a lot to celebrate March Madness, but a recent study done by Wallet Hub shows the best cities for college basketball. Athena Kehoe explains how an Arizona team's fared.
GCU was eliminated from the tournament in the second round, but their fans, the Havocs, made quite an impression. In many cases, fans can make a difference in whether or not a team wins or loses. So where do Arizona cities fall in the national rankings for best college basketball towns? According to Wallet Hub, Tucson is quite some way down that list as 153rd best city for college basketball. ASU didn't make the tournament this year, but Tempe actually scored higher than Tucson for best college basketball city, coming in at 141. Phoenix ranked highest in the state at 122, likely because of those Lopes fans here at GCU. Even Flagstaff was ranked at 228. So who's in first place? Well, Los Angeles gets that one because they have 4 D1 teams. And second is Philadelphia with the most regular season conference wins. In Phoenix, Athena Kehoe, Cronkite News.
And if you filled up lately, you may notice gas prices in Arizona have been on the rise.
That's right, Zariah. The average price in Arizona is almost 40 cents a gallon, more than the national average, according to AAA. Right now in Arizona, the average is $3.91. However, Maricopa County's average is $4.06. Gas prices on the West Coast are also more expensive due to weather systems across the country that may have been impacted the transportation of fuel, according to a spokesperson for AAA.
Coming up next, spring is in the air, and so are allergies.
However, there may be a natural solution to all your allergy problems.
My favorite thing is working with the bees. That's my favorite. I love just being with the hives.
After the break, find out what all the buzz is surrounding bees and their honey.
And things might be starting to finally heat up in the valley just in time for the Final Four. Your forecast coming up next.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
Welcome back. Allergy season is in full swing here in the Valley, but there may be a new treatment to fighting allergies.
Cronkite News reporter Leslie Chapman is here to tell us about one natural remedy that may be able to curb your runny nose and watery eyes.
Yeah, seasonal allergies are an annoying thing that many people experience each year. But some people believe that one natural product is something that could be the relief they're looking for.
Honey is no longer looked at as just a food, but also acknowledged for its therapeutic properties. Local honey in particular has been receiving more and more attention.
People buy local honey because it tastes so much better and because it's healthier for you.
The belief is that consuming local honey can help naturally relieve allergy symptoms without the use of medicine.
The idea is building up a tolerance to the pollen you're breathing in so that when you're breathing it in, you're not having as much of an issue because you're already kind of tolerating it inside your immune system.
It depends on the allergy, and I think that the definitive verdict is still out.
Dr. Julie Wendt, board-certified allergist and immunologist, says there have been small studies that say eating local honey can be helpful, but nothing definitive.
The pollen in the air is wind-borne pollen. It's very small, tends to be from the local trees, grass, weeds, ragweeds, and so forth. The pollen that attracts bees and moths tends to be sticky, bigger, and things like flowering plants. And so that tends not to be the problem for most people.
But Young says his customers are actually seeing a difference from eating their allergy pollen mix.
Most of our customers start seeing results in about a week of taking it. You got to be consistent on it. It's not something you just cure whatever. It's kind of like a help build up a tolerance.
And while Dr. Wendt says the science isn't there yet, consuming honey is likely not harmful.
I always say give it a shot. Let's see if it works for you. because there may be some usefulness, if nothing else, the anti-inflammatory properties.
So the work these bees are doing may be more than sweetening your cup of tea.
Dr. Wen says that children under the age of 1 should not consume honey. She also suggests talking to your doctor before trying any new remedies. In Phoenix, Leslie Chapman, Cronkite News.
As Metro Phoenix urbanized, where there was once fields and flowers of vegetables.
That's right. Housing developments and commercial properties have taken their place, but there are some farms that are still around South Mountain. Our reporter Lauren Bly has the story.
Baseline Road in the 60s and 70s during the springtime was a sight to see. Catherine Nakagawa remembers this time like it was yesterday.
The smell of the flowers was just amazing, and we'll still have customers, longtime customers, who remember the flower fields here, and they remember driving up and down Baseline Road when it was a 2-lane highway. And just they would roll down their windows, and the smell was just amazing.
Baseline Flowers remains the solitary reminder of those vibrant fields, although without the land, the process of getting the flowers looks a bit different.
Well, today we don't grow anymore, and people are really disappointed, and I wish we could bring back some of that growing. So that would be the biggest difference, is that we ship everything in.
According to Nakagawa, 7 prominent Japanese families played a pivotal role in fostering the flourishing floral land along Baseline Road. But as the years went on, the families sold their land, and housing and commercial property took their place. But there are some parts of South Mountain that continue to flourish.
Even this space that we're in used to be a cotton farm. It's cool to have people grow.
With the specific mission to address the critical issue of dwindling food resources and farmers, a 19-acre incubator farm sits at Spaces of Opportunity, a partnership with unlimited potential, the Desert Botanical Garden, and the Roosevelt School District. It symbolizes hope for the future of farming in Phoenix.
To solve the problem and the issue of running out of food, but more importantly, running out of farmers.
And Nakagawa is joyful at the continued presence of agriculture in the South Mountain area.
So I think it's wonderful that further west from here in the Levine area, there's still a large agricultural area.
In Phoenix, Lauren Bly, Cronkite News.
What a beautiful story. Well, so far we've had a wet and chilly spring here in the valley, but things are about to heat up, Zariah.
That's right, Denzen. We're talking temperatures approaching 90 degrees. Riley Swenson joins us now with what we can expect for the rest of the week.
Hello and welcome into Weather Wednesday. Let's start with the evening planner. It's been beautiful throughout the day here in Phoenix, and it looks to continue on into the evening. As the sun sets, those temperatures will dip down into the 70s, all the way down to 71 at 10 p.m. A light breeze, a little bit of cloud cover, but if you have evening plans, those look promising tonight. As we shift it now into tomorrow, taking a look at the low temperatures. The Grand Canyon basketball team, they've been hot, but the temperatures stay chilly up in the Grand Canyon, a low of 34 tomorrow. Up in that whole northern part of the state, some low 30s into the mid 40s. But as you shift into the south and western part of the state, you get the lows up into the 50s, and that brings us to our high temperatures then tomorrow. It's going to be a scorcher in the valley and that western part of the state again, Lake Havasu up to 85, as well as Yuma. And you look at Phoenix, that's the highlight, 89 the high temperatures. Like I said, it's going to be very hot in the valley tomorrow, and it's going to get up into the 70s up in Page, and 65 the high temperature in the Grand Canyon tomorrow. So there will be some warm weather. But now as we take a look at the 8-day forecast, as it ends this week, the final 4 tips off on Saturday. It's going to start to cool down into those upper high 60s, but should be a pretty nice day to tailgate, all things considered. Not going to be too hot there on Saturday if you want to get ready for the game. Sunday is going to be absolutely perfect. And that national championship game on Monday, a high of 76, another great day to get outside, enjoy the weather before possibly heading to that game. And then you head into the end of the week. It's going to be very, very warm. 91 on Thursday is the highlight there, as it gets very warm next weekend. Possibly a trip to the pool. So if you want to get out this weekend and enjoy some outdoor activities, now is the time to do it before possibly some rest and relaxation next weekend in the warm weather. From the Cronkite Weather Center, I'm Riley Swenson.
I'm Kevin Malater with a preview of tonight's Cronkite Sports Report.
And I'm Stephen Buxton. Coming up after a quick break, excitement builds for the Final Four games. And Purdue has arrived, ready to take on NC State. We'll have more after this quick break.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage,
against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to sue,
and entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
As journalists at Cronkite News, we report on stories that matter to you by focusing on the local impact. We dig deeper and work tirelessly to keep you informed.
Live in Wickerburg.
Live in Los Angeles. In Cleveland. In Washington. In Louisville.
From Jerusalem. Live in Philadelphia.
From around the world to right here in Phoenix.
At Cronkite News, we report the facts and stick to the truth.
To the Cronkite Sports Report, I'm Kevin Malater.
And I'm Stephen Buxton. Thank you for joining us.
Well, Stephen, the month of March may be over, but the madness still lives on as we are finally down to the final 4 teams left standing in the NCAA men's tournament.
And potentially the team to watch, the Purdue Boilermakers. They flew into Phoenix from Indiana last night to prepare for their upcoming game in the men's Final Four against NC State this Saturday. This season, Purdue superstars center Zach Edey and the rest of the team have received a lot of criticism. Losing in the first round of last year's tournament certainly didn't help, but on this year's revenge tour, the Boilermakers are seeking to silence the crowd and stick to business to prove the critics wrong.
Sometimes when people say derogatory things about you, it upsets you, but when it's true, make some adjustments to that. And we really didn't, change our conviction in terms of how we played. We just had to be better.
At Copper Canyon High School in Glendale, the Arizona Cardinals and Special Olympics Arizona teamed up to give Towson School District students the opportunity of a lifetime to play like the professionals.
Lauren Avenatti was there to witness the event in person.
Towson Unified School District students came out to take a look at Copper Canyon's makeover into a Cardinals training camp. Students got the opportunity to participate in a number of drills and games and even got to play alongside one of the pros, Cardinals linebacker Dennis Gardick. Xavier Acosta was one of the 100 students who got to participate.
I think it's pretty fun because I get to play with them and make them happy, and personally I'm myself happy, so I get to just play with them and make everyone's day.
But for many attendees, this means more than just football. It's about the community events like these create across the valley.
As much support as they put into us, we want to put just back, right back to them. So, we're lucky enough to have great fans across Arizona. And so our job is to get out to show them the support that they give us.
It's especially meaningful for many special needs athletes who don't usually get the chance to partake in high school athletics.
For a lot of our families, after they're kind of in that middle school youth age, it's more challenging to have appropriate sports opportunities. And so here they are included. They are a member of that team.
The Cardinals and Special Olympics Arizona plan to team up again in the future, and hopefully one day we will see these students suit up in red and white and play right across the street at State Farm Stadium. In Glendale, Lauren Avenatti, Cronkite News.
If you're interested in learning more about what the Special Olympics Arizona has to offer, find out more at their website, specialolympicsarizona.org. The Arizona Diamondbacks handed the Yankees their first loss of the season yesterday, Stephen, but injuries are beginning to pile up.
Yeah, Kevin, the team will once again have to rely on a lot of their young talent to take on a larger role. Starting center fielder Alec Thomas was just placed on the 10-day IL, and in preparation for their first road trip of the season, the Snakes will be relying on rookie Jorge Barrosa, who had made his MLB debut on Monday and started his first career game on Tuesday. After a lot of turnover, ASU football looks to have reloaded their defense, which is looking for a bounce-back season, which starts now this spring.
Cronkite News reporter TJ Hayes takes a look at some of the new looks on the defensive side of the ball for the Sun Devils.
ASU's defense last season was the backbone to their team, but this season they have a chance to become even better.
The transfer portal period highlighted many newcomers and some departures, but ultimately ASU's defense added the depth this offseason that they were missing.
It's great. It's great. When you got bigger bodies, it just makes practice go a lot smoother, and you're able to practice a lot harder and a lot more physical. And having this depth right now, where we have really a true 3 deep, and we're 4 in some other spots, it's not going to take the steam off of practice and the physicality off of spring ball.
The secondary is already looking quite athletic and competitive just a week into practice. Cole Martin, one of the new transfers from Oregon, has made his presence known among his new coaches and teammates quite quickly.
You see intelligence. You see him be so patient sometimes on routes because he can see the release path, he sees what's coming, then he goes and plays it.
Among the other defensive position groups, the defensive line has added a lot more versatility as well.
They're going to give us a lot of flexibility, and anytime we got a dynamic pass rusher like a Prince Storber or Clayton Smith and those guys, and what they're going to bring in value in passing situations, we have some bodies this year that we're going to be able to be creative.
ASU football has had a lot of departures and additions to their defense this offseason, but one of the biggest additions is Coach Reynolds to the defensive line. Coach Reynolds has over 20 years of experience at the collegiate and professional levels coaching, and has a Super Bowl ring to go along with it. Seeing how this knowledge of the game will rub off on this year's defensive line should be exciting.
The respect that the guys have for him, when you run a pass rush clinic for NFL guys in the offseason, and then you're working with collegiate players, those guys have that level of respect that if he says something, I should probably do it.
If ASU can improve enough on offense this year, they will without a doubt be in the position to win more than 3 games. In Tempe, TJ Hayes, Cronkite News.
Well, from the likes of new guys like Cole Martin, Coach Reynolds, and everyone else that have joined the Sun Devils this offseason, ASU's defense seems to have a lot of potential in 2024.
With high anticipation comes even greater expectations, and that is no different for the defending USL Championship winners. The Phoenix Rising kicked off their 2024 season earlier in March, and it's not going how many here in the Valley had hoped. While hosting over 7,000 fans in the stands this past Saturday, the Rising have added another loss to their record, making them 1-3 on the season. And their lone win came back on March 23rd over Oakland Roots. All of the Rising's first 4 games this season have been decided by 1 goal. The team will have to find a way to win these close matches if they hope to have a chance to repeat as champions.
The Rising may have stumbled out of the gate to start, but the team will look to get back on track with their upcoming match on the road against FC Tulsa this Friday at 5:30. That's it for this edition of Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Stephen Buxton.
And I'm Kevin Malater. Now back to Denson and Zariah at the desk.
Thanks, Stephen and Kevin. Well, coming up next, we know a baby cow is called a calf.
But do you know what to call a baby goat? If you don't know, we'll tell you after the break, and you'll find out why the Phoenix Zoo is asking for your help with these little ones.
Three, 2, 1. Cronkite News. Get real professional experience in areas such as reporting, broadcast editing, and behind-the-scenes production, such as technical director and audio.
Kill the mics.
Or go out in the field and cover important local stories.
We learn and master the English language.
In a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Cronkite News. The future starts now.
What Cronkite News means to me is opportunity.
We do news right at Cronkite News, serving a community ethically, honestly, and truthfully.
And we can provide a necessarily different angle, different voice for those people that really need it.
The students, they have a lot of passion for journalism.
I get to do a lot of stories about the Hispanic community.
And we have access to cover all of these sorts of events and get media coverage of all these different personalities and athletes, and that's just a huge thing.
But it's also a chance for people here to be humanized. Individuals of all walks of life.
Cronkite News will help take the next generation of journalists onto their next careers.
I am old enough to remember Walter Cronkite.
We're putting a lot of pride on his name because we are practicing a lot of the things that he did.
I think he'd be smiling from ear to ear.
I.
We are Cronkite.
Finally tonight, the Phoenix Zoo is in desperate need of your help.
That's right, Denzen. The zoo needs help naming its newest baby goats.
2 different goats at the petting zoo there gave birth to 5 different kids. And if you didn't already know, kid is the term for a baby goat. The kids were born last month, and now the zoo would like your input to help name them, which you can do by visiting the zoo's website.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.